So I'm back. So I've recently been requested to continue doing Bionicle reviews, as of course I had previously done a few years prior. Now this channel has been dead for a while, but I have preserved several of my Bionicle sets that I had previously purchased in the past. And, they've got a few pieces missing, but today I just wanted to, get back into the swing of things and go over Tahu, who I never got to review. So, here's what I got here. And, as you can see, he's got a few pieces missing, but, I mean, he's essentially all there. And here is the Bionicle 2014 reboot set, Tahu, Toa of Fire. Now, of course, these sets were released in the early of, 2015, but some accessed them winter of 2014, if you had all the connections or whatever, they arrived early, as they did. And as you can see here, Toa of Fire, appropriately colored red. It was quite a controversial design for many who felt that the more Technic route that the previous Bionicle sets had taken in the early 2000s was where they should have gone, but instead they redesigned the new Bionicle sets based off of the Hero Factory shell parts, the CCBS system. But I don't know where all those complaints are coming from. I think this design is quite Technic in nature and gives off a very robotic industrial design. So as you can see here, there are several intricate ridges and tiny little details that you wouldn't see on a normal system or perhaps even Hero Factory Lego set. And they've really gone into great detail in the design to get across some emotion in the face there, and just a lot of, because there's a lot of history in the design and the lore of the Bionicle style that I think they've preserved pretty well here. Of course, Bionicle has been canceled once again as of the recording of this video, which is quite the shame because, sets like these, I think, if I was so young and spry and swift as I was so long ago, I would quite enjoy something like this. Of course, now that Bionicle is gone, the kids that were so young and spry nowadays, as I was back in my youth, will not be able to enjoy the intricacies of such a design as this, and will be stuck with the regular system, or, well, dare I say, Lego Friends sets. So let's get into the specifics here. What can it do? So Tahu here originally came with a gear function, so that when you turned a gear on his back here, his arms would rotate and would take his swords and swing them up and down, had you position them in his hands. Now, as you can see, that function has since been rendered unusable, which is a shame, but you can still get the motion itself without the gear on the back. Just kind of rock the arms back and forth, as you can see here. Now, while the gear function itself is no longer operational, you can still see the great design and detail. So let's get up close and dirty here. Let's see, these two little dots here are, of course, ancient Matoran symbols, representative of the two great beings, Madanui and the other guy. Now these ancient markings on the side here are designated of the story of the original Madanui Island. Now, for those of us in the know, you know that the island of Madanui no longer takes place in the rebooted Bionicle universe, but they left a little Easter egg here in the set to kind of throw back to it. The different elements that were the terrain, different areas and factions on the original island of Madanui. We got ice, water, fire, earth, air, and then you can actually see the symbol for light on the top here. If you look really close, you got to get it under a good light. It's actually glow in the dark. And of course, the head design, let's focus on that for a second, because it's so intricately sculpted that I feel a lot of people don't appreciate. Now, many people were mad that they had not gone back to the original, perhaps the original Bionicle head design, or some of the original designs in the original universe, where they had, the axle that would plug in right here, and you had the mask. So the new masks were not compatible with the old heads. However, this, of course, contributed to the feature where you could pull a lever and the mask would fall off in collusion with the gear function, so that two Toa could fight one another, or perhaps if you had some of the Skull Warriors or such, they could fight one another and have battles and knock each other's masks off. This was, in fact, a throwback to the original Bionicle universe, but alas, this function is rendered unusable once again. I apologize for that. But you can still see the mask here is quite intricately sculpted. There's a lot of, emotion in the face, stoicism yet concern, and a lot of knowing, just a knowing expression of the danger that lies ahead and the responsibility that lay on the shoulders. Now, the feet here are interesting because they used these new ball joint extender pieces to make the height of the Toa quite, varied and different, so that, Tahu might be taller than Ohatu or some of the other members of the Toa team. And just some quite interesting new piece designs that they introduced here that I think it's a shame that they aren't produced anymore. So this is Tahu, and April Fools.